Good morning, you guys. It's just a little private, intimate service here. And hello to everyone on Zoom. I check my camera. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Manhattan, Kansas. My name is Sarah Desmet, and I'll be your convener today. I want to welcome both members and visitors, old timers and newcomers, whether you are here in person at the Fellowship Building or you are joining us via Zoom. We welcome all people of goodwill, regardless of your religious beliefs, if any, regardless of the path of your spiritual journey, if any, and regardless of wealth, race, gender identity, sexual orientation, or the extent or limits of your abilities. We strive to look through eternal superficialities and to look past our own prejudices and stereotypes to see the true inner beauty, worth, and dignity of every person. We have no creed, but adhere to the Unitarian Universalist principles, which are drawn from all of the many available sources of truth and wisdom, including science, poetry, history, and personal experience. I invite visitors to sign the guest book in the narthex. Today we'll be watching the bridging service from the Unitarian Universalist General Assembly held June 22 through 26 in Portland, Oregon. I edited the video, rearranged and cut certain parts to reduce the length. The full service is on the Unitarian Universalist website. You may choose to hum to the music, the songs that you know, as we are limiting singing again today because COVID. As UUs, we operate in ways that consider folks with health concerns and everyone's safety. According to the public health officials, the COVID risk level is once again moderately high. With an abundance of caution, UUFM continues to mask in the building, to social distance as possible, accepting the reality that the pandemic continues to threaten lives. Today is a transformative, multi-generational workshop, a celebration of treasured service elements, rites of passage, and contemporary music. We will explore how communities and ecosystems rebuild interdependence after great calamity and honor bridging youth in ritual. Bridging is the transition from youthhood to young adulthood, a moment to honor our growth and transitions along the lifespan. I witnessed a bridging service here before the pandemic, around the time that teenagers of the fellowship were honored on the cusp of their futures that we hope will be filled with joy and surprise. As we contemplate the unconditional love bestowed on UU children to live a happy life of purpose, let us also carry in our hearts the thousands of children who will age out of the foster care system today, as they too enter adulthood and begin to make their way essentially alone. They are not alone. Let us stand too with these young adults and endeavor to support their hopes and dreams with the same commitment we give children we call our own. This is the space in the service set aside to honor the truths that need to be known about the history of resilience and justified resistance. Here in the plains, by the First Nations, Indigenous natives who made the area we stand in today their home. We agreed to build the capacity for authentic relationships with our Indigenous neighbors to honor and embody the truths that need to be known. We want to remember and remind ourselves that regardless of our legal title and deep affection for this land, it is not ours. With exclusionary laws and violent practices that remove Native nations and peoples, we received this land from them. Today, we let go of our claims to what was stolen and meet the people of this land with humility as uninvited guests. We say the names of those who care and have cared deeply for the lands now called Kansas. Among them, the Kaw, Kickapoo, Kiowa, Osage, Peoria, Pawnee, Sauk, and Wichita. for whom Kansas is a traditional homeland. We acknowledge and commit to memory the names of the 4 federally recognized Native nations in Kansas: the Prairie Band Potawatomi, the Kickapoo Tribe of Kansas, the Iowa Tribe of Kansas and Nebraska, and Sac and Fox Nation of Missouri in Kansas and Nebraska. Let's begin the service.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Synergy Bridging Worship Service of 2022. I thought we could begin with a body prayer. It'll involve some arm movements, but if using your hands just as this feels better, that is good too. And would you take a moment to rise with me to do this body prayer as you are willing and able? I offer a series of movements with our bodies to remind us of the values and theologies that we draw from in our Unitarian Universalist tradition. So when we raise our hands like this, if you raise with me, we remember the transcendent wonder of the universe that we experience when we gaze up at the starry sky, when we see the salmon in the river, the pine trees all around us, the wonders of nature. And we bring our arms down over our hearts. And we remember that each of us is inherently worthy and sacred, no matter what. That we live in a world that dehumanizes us, that may take away our rights, our bodily autonomy, but we say no to that because we as Unitarian Universalists are here to promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person. When we put out our arms like this, perhaps touching our forearms to the person next to us, we remember that we are part of an interconnected, interdependent web, that we can't do this alone, that we're here in community and that we need to bond together, especially on days like this, when so much is facing us in challenge and we can bind together in community and make this world a more just place. And we put out our arms forward, remembering that part of our tradition is action, that we take service in the world together, that we are here to do justice into the world and bring it more fully so that we can live in a more loving world. And we come back to our center with prayer hands, remembering that we belong to a oneness of being. We will always belong to that oneness of being. So just as a reminder, and we're going to do this silently in a moment after I light the chalice, but transcendent wonder inherent dignity, no matter what. The interconnected web of community, doing justice and doing service in the world, and a oneness of being. So remember those. I will light our chalice, and then we'll do those 3 times together silently. So let's go 3 more times through, calling those spirits in to worship with us. Thank you. You may be seated. Dear ones, we are many here in Portland and coming together across the continent and across the globe. Every year for a long time now, we come together for the synergy bridging worship here at General Assembly. It is good to be together, both near and far. We are bridging youth, the name we give to young folks transitioning from youthhood to young adulthood. We are children, seeing those move through our tradition before us, bringing wonder to that which is yet to unfold. We are elders, Unitarian Universalists who have given so much to our movement, passing forward the wisdom and care that anchors us. We are adults, working to transform our communities and world around us. We are young adults, adapting to and fighting for this world and moment, and calling us back to our deepest values and commitments. We are youth, joyfully co-creating a community within Unitarian Universalism that gives life anew to our tradition. We arrive today to honor a unique transition, bridging between youthhood and young adulthood. Bridgers, we celebrate you today.
There are more waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know. There are more waters rising, they will find their way to me. There are more waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know. There are more fires burning, they will find their way to me. There are more fires burning, this I know, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know. Hey-oh, hey-oh, oh, hey-oh. Hey-oh, hey-oh, oh, hey-oh. Hey-oh, hey-oh, oh, hey-oh. Hey-oh, hey-oh, oh, hey-oh. There are more mountains falling, this I know, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know. There are more mountains falling, they will find their way to me. There are more mountains falling, this I know, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know. I will wade through the waters, this I know, this I know. I will wade through the waters, this I know. I will wade through the waters when they find their way to me. We will wade through the waters, this I know, this this I know, we will wade through the waters, this I know.
I will walk through the fire, this I know, this I know. I will walk through the fire, this I know. I will walk through the fire when they find their way to me. I will walk through the fire, this I know, this I know. I will walk through the fire, this I know.
I will rebuild the mountains, this I know, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know.
I will rebuild the mountains when they find their way to me.
I will rebuild the mountains, this I know, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know.
Good evening. My name is Sunny Cornick-Fuchs, and my pronouns are they and them. After a great calamity, what does it take for a community to replant interdependence? This is the question that drives our worship today, that informs the moment we enter into together here. For a generation of young people, we have known such disruptions through these multiple pandemics we've been facing. The horizon of what was expected has invariably shifted. For all of us in this faith community, the life of our religious communities together have changed. From a moment of precarity, what does regrowing take? The past few years, I too have been pondering this question and its many answers. When the first pandemic started, I was a senior in the class of 2020. I, like all seniors, was preparing for the part of school I had waited 11 and a half years for. I was filled with excitement, anxiety, and most of all, curiosity for what comes next. Then, in the blink of an eye, most of that went away, replaced by fear, depression, and more anxiety. What I and many others have learned the past few years is that the only consistent thing in life is change. If you had asked me in January of 2020 who I was, the answer would have been wildly different to what I would say if you had asked me today. It's one of those times when, while you're in it, it just really sucks to experience. But afterwards, you're able to look back and say, hey, that was pretty incredible in its own way. Maybe it wasn't fun to experience, but I wouldn't be the same person I am today had I not had that experience. The story I am about to share with you comes from our very own Shannon Harper. It's a story to meet this moment, where we've endured such hardship, and now we may replant interdependence anew. Imagine with me a garden. Once upon a time, our garden landscape was functional, but it was an old design that we had been adapting and changing over decades. There were areas that had died off or been overgrown. The shade of some really large plants choked out the new sprouts. We would look for empty spots that needed to be filled but weren't always communicating, so we would plant on top of each other. We lost track of the old design, and yet there was still enough evidence of it and people who remembered it to get in the way of something completely new being created. We knew it needed to change, but the idea of starting over completely was overwhelming when we had so many plants on life support and couldn't decide all what we should be doing next. We watched as the floodwaters flooded our garden. All of the plants and designs gone. We went into emergency mode, salvaging what we could, creating lifeboats out of the materials we had. We clung to the few sturdier trees that were rooted enough to withstand the current. And mostly we tried to laugh and console each other through the despair of not knowing what, if anything, of our garden would be left. Now, the waters are receding. The landscape has completely changed. So many things have been washed away completely. Some trees are still here. Some seedlings are starting to cautiously peek out of the ground, but the rains are still unpredictable. We can't start replanting yet. However, we can create other places for people to enjoy in the interim, places that require minimal maintenance so that we can focus our energy on cleaning away and tilling the remnants of the last garden, dreaming up a new landscape, gaining the tools needed to create and care for it, and healing ourselves and the land. Now, we have a new landscape design for our garden that takes into consideration everyone who uses and enjoys it. It is accessible, diverse, and spacious. Fruit and blooms are growing. There's a bridge and a path to other gardens and lands, and places to just sit and think. We care for this garden together, sharing the tasks of maintenance and planting. Every new addition is considered in a relationship to the original design, and we are willing to edit and change this blueprint when new ideas are brought forward.
We'll pause now for the offertory and to share our joys and concerns. There are some joys and concern slips in the back there, and I'll come and pick them up. And on Zoom, go ahead and put your joys and concerns in the chat, and I'll read them. Today, our donations not marked for UUFM will be donated to the Helping Hands recipient for the month of August. That is the Flint Hills Community Clinic. The clinic provides healthcare services to those in our community who have no health benefits. The mission of the clinic is to understand and serve the health and wellness needs of the medically underserved in our community by providing quality, compassionate, and personalized care. Next week, Rick Hernandez will be with us or send a video to describe more about this mutual aid organization. You can also give to Helping Hands by going to our website at uufm.net, clicking on Donate. You'll have the option of giving to Helping Hands, the Blessing Box by Wonder Workshop, or the UUFM General Operating Budget, or all of the above. You may also send by mail. Contributions are greatly appreciated and help support all aspects of our fellowship. We'll go ahead and listen to a little bit of music that was played at the offertory at the conference, at the assembly. Do we have any joys and concerns in the sanctuary today? On Zoom?
There aren't any on Zoom either.
I'm going to read them off the chat. If you do have any joys to share or concerns that you'd like us to know, so we can help carry those for you, with you.
There are none. Oh, well, now there is.
Sarah, I don't think that you can hear us, but we don't have any.
Well, I
Joys
guess we
and
were sitting in silence a little bit with our thoughts. We welcome peace and joy, that they may give us soothing times in times of concern and sorrow. I did? Oh, good. Oh, great. Great news. Michael is feeling better. Ah, yes, Les mentions that we won. We won the no. Great joy from all over the country, I know. We always take a moment of silence here to reflect.
After a ruinous storm, when the water is low, something new takes root. When it's humid and warm, recyclers get to work. The fallen logs, the broken branches, the leaves thrown off of the trees, and all the broken pieces are reclaimed by the earth. Mushrooms take root from mycelium. When I was younger, I often went into the woods or down by a creek or a river, and I would flip logs looking for bugs, snakes, newts. If you've ever flipped a log and seen the white stuff that almost looks like veins growing on it, that's mycelium. It connects the entire forest. It wraps around the roots of plants and trees. It digs in and sends relays and signals, creating an interconnected network of life. It helps move materials like water, nitrogen, carbon, and other minerals. It allows new plants to grow, old plants to recover, and some plants you've never seen before to reach into the sun. The mycelium is the connective tissue across the ecosystem that aids in recovery and regrowth. Well, we like to think that humans are much more complicated than some mycelium. We're not so different. After disasters, where buildings fall and homes break, or when a pandemic strikes the world, people often unite. We regrow, we build on what was left behind, or recycle previous ideas and philosophies into something new. I'm from a small youth group that was extremely difficult to keep active during the pandemic. My youth group would cook pizza together over Zoom. We would hike in the woods at a distance, and the youth and kids ended up connecting with each other more than ever by having calls where we planted vegetables in pots for indoor gardens, or worked on our church's community garden while masking and social distancing. Even with all of those opportunities, it got pretty quiet after a while. I found myself searching and forging for new opinions and views because I'd had enough of my own thoughts. That long search pushed me to keep our area youth council going, which got attention from my church, which led to them asking me to be a 2021 delegate for GA, which has led to my new perspectives in life. These were all new connections, new growth. And in the end, it was incredible for me. Lots of other people had to do things like this to keep connection and community while weathering this storm. We learned new things, we evolved, and we adapted. It's like the mycelium in a fallen forest. We helped each other. We've been forced to make new connections and reach out in different ways, and that's good. We were stuck to Zoom for a while, which was difficult, but it allowed new people to join communities that were previously unreachable. An example of that being myself. I'm a lifelong UU, and this is only my second GA, because until last year, I didn't have the ability to attend. Zoom made it possible for me to join this youth community, which has been life-changing. It led me to meet many new UU youth that I knew were out here, but hadn't been able to find. It built a path that eventually led me and many UUs into the community we've created here. It's been exhausting. Big change is never easy, and recovering will take some time. And we're still learning and starting many things from scratch. It isn't going to be a quick recovery, and this experience will stick with all of us for a long, long time. We aren't the same people, the same society, or the same world that we were when this started. It's never going to feel the same, and it will never look the same, and that's okay. The same old thing would get boring pretty fast. I'm pretty early in my UU journey. I'm still just a sprout. But as I grow, I intend to lend a helping hand to anyone that needs it, and share my thoughts and journey with anyone who wants to hear them, just as many UUs have done for me. And I plan to learn and listen to all the other thoughts and journeys of those that cross my path. We can share our resources, our time, and we can put work into forming change and making a new place that we would want to be in the world. Following our fourth principle, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, we can survey the damage, the things broken, the things changed, and the loved ones lost. We can use our experiences, our new connections, and what we learned from those around us to cultivate new truths and meanings within the forest we call home, in our web of mycelium. I hope this is something that you can carry in your journey throughout the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part.
Inch by inch, row by row, I'm gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Pulling weeds and picking stones, we are made from dreams and bones. Feel the need to grow my own, 'cause the time is close at hand. Rainful sun, sun and rain, find my way in nature's chain. Tune my body and my brain to the music from the land. Come on, sing along, here we go. Inch by inch, row by row, I'm gonna help this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Plant your rows straight and long, temper them with prayer and song. Mother Earth will make you strong if you give her love and care. Old crow watching hungrily from his perch in yonder tree.
In my garden I'm as free as that feathered thief up there. Here we go. Inch by inch, row by row, I'm gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down.
All right, y'all. We come to this moment each year, marking the transition between youthhood and younghood for a specific set of individuals. These individuals are in our charge, and it gives us a chance to take stock of our tradition and how it's showing up for young people year after year. To us, the General Assembly, the congregation of congregations, I charge us to be the co-creators and co-conspirators of the garden that will continue to support and nurture these bridging youth into their adulthood. This is not a moment where we can passively stand by and expect what is already there to flourish. It needs all of our support. That means money in the budget for religious education. For youth ministry, for young adult ministry, and through the lifespan. It means our collective responsibility amongst our congregations in regional and national communities to look out for young people. We don't have a choice. A garden won't grow without our nurturing. And do not mistake it. These young people are already in your community. These bridgers may be sticking around where we are, but they will need new soil around them to grow. And that will take work and intention. And these bridgers may be arriving where you are and need your outreach and care to find a new home in our web of community. It's going to mean offering practical care to and for young adults. That means rides to worship services and rides to direct actions and home from jail. Yep. This means meals and fellowship. It means checking in regularly. It means sending along care packages. I charge us to recognize and engage with the unique and crucial faith formation phase that is emergent adulthood. Now is a time when Unitarian Universalist young people are encountering and wrestling with a harsh and dehumanizing world. Young people need a Unitarian Universalism that speaks to their experiences, that is the clarity of our liberatory values and the solace of a faith community to hold us in this growth. I charge us to take seriously the leadership of young people themselves within our communities. They are calling us to the deepest expression of our values. When we say you are the present of our faith, that means co-creating decision-making tables that take their voices seriously. That means valuing their labors and leadership. It means nurturing and offering sustenance to them so they may abide in our faith for the long term. Each time that we come to this moment, may we take stock of our garden, nurturing the seedlings of what is newly arising and tending for and fertilizing that which has flourished before. Commit and recommit and repair and grow. This is our work. This is our charge. If you, gathered congregation of the General Assembly, will commit to this charge, I need y'all to speak aloud at home or in here in this hall an amen, and I will, a blessed be, or whatever affirmation sings from your heart. Will you take up this charge? We're gonna do that one more time, y'all. Will you take up this charge?
Hey, you. You can say I will.
Good. Good. Blessed be.
As we extinguish our chalice, let us sing together, Blue Boat Home.
Here we go. Below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. My universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat. I give thanks to the waves are calling me, hail the great winds urging me on. Lead the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. My universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat.
Thank you all for being here today. As you prepare to leave this sacred space, pack away a piece of this church in your heart. Wrap it carefully like a precious gem. Carry it with you through the joys and sorrows of your days. Let its gentle glow strengthen you, warm you, remind you of all that is good and true until you gather here again in this place of love. We leave blessed by our connections to one another and to the spirit of life. Walk lightly that you may see the life that is below your feet. Spread your arms as if you had wings and could dance through the air. Feel the joy of the breath in your lungs and the fire in your heart. Live to love and be a blessing on this earth. Amen. Please join us for coffee and conversation in the Allsop room in the back. And